you have to understand that people, if you're not from New York and you don't know this album changed New York. Uh, you can go to people at the top of the game like Jay-Z, anybody. For example, Noriega has been on here listening to this conversation for the entire time. Everybody in New York, this album means a lot to everybody in New York. You initially got four and a half mics from the source.
Right.
Did you feel a little slighted by that?
A little bit, but I was cool with the 4.5 because I knew at the end of the day it had to be somebody that wasn't really gonna get it. That's why the name of the album from the rip was always called Only Built for Cuban Links, because only, so when you saying only, you already know that it's alienating a lot of shit that a lot of motherfuckers may like. So I was cool with the 4.5, but I felt a little raw because I knew it was different. The world knew it was different. And later on, they came back to fix that problem.
Yeah, they came back
and they blamped us with that other half. I don't know what made them not just give it a full-fledged classic, but at that time we was wild. We was, they might have felt we was feeling our dicks a little too hard. But I knew that this album was authentic. And I was cool with the 4.5.
Well, you have to understand, Doggy Style, they came back and gave Doggy Style 5.
I ain't know that.
Yeah, they've only given a certain amount of albums.
Niggas 5, right?
A posthumous 5. So
right.
that's a major win in any world.
Right.
This tape was one of the tapes that was kind of a part of my younger brother Kendall's formative years, like politicking, and then he took it and made it shiner ticking, and he always used to talk about the land, because who the kid up in the green land, like it was so formative for everybody in New York City,
right?
And that album will stand for time. And people, just in case you're just tuning in, we're talking to Raekwon the Chef every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I go live, current events, celebrity interviews. Right after Raekwon gets off, we're going to talk about who are some of the best MCs of all time in your opinion. If you have not followed me yet, follow me at Fatman Scoop. I interview somebody every day. Let's go right to Cuban Links. Striving for perfection. Tell me about Striving for Perfection. It wasn't even a song. It was a skit. But it's one of the most powerful skits that have ever been put out in hip-hop. What was the story behind it?
It was just trying to get out the hood, Scoop. That's all. Nothing. Just trying to get out and have something to live for. Stop trying to have something to die for, but have something to live for. We didn't know if we was going to crack niggas in the head. So it was like, you know how it is. Everything is 50-50 when you from the hood. This shit could work. This shit might not work. So we was smart enough to already know that if it don't work, then that means we didn't put in enough to make it work. So when Ghost was saying shit like, yo, man, I'm just trying to take care of my family, man, and raise my grandkids and all that was real talk. Because at the end of the day, like I said, we ain't job niggas. We never been niggas that go out and try to go get a job. Like, I'd rather get on the block and stack some money that way than to sit at an office desk and act like I'm listening to somebody, because that's not where I come from. Maybe if I came from that kind of community where I could respect a job and respect a check every week, maybe I might have not had that kind of attitude. But I come from, the bottom. So either you make it one this way or you don't make it at all. So that Striving perfection was just, yo, man, this shit gotta work, but we gonna think positive and we gonna work hard. And if it don't work, then we in trouble. So
now, was that a one take job, or because it just the power and energy of it, like it still gives me goosebumps. Was that just y'all just hop in there? What was it?
Yeah, nothing was never sat down and wrote and written out. It was like, yo, go on and do skits. Do what y'all want to do. You like it, it feel good. Nigga give you the peace sign, you out of there. It wasn't never where it was like, yo, we sitting here and, yo, write that shit out or whatever. Because if you wrote it out, it wasn't genuine, but if you did it from the heart, it was from the heart. So a lot of shit was just said from the heart.
Incarcerated Scarfaces. one of the hardest records in New York street music ever. What was the story?
I just wanted to write a record for niggas in jail because I had a couple of homies that I really ran with in the street that went away, and they got hit with some hard time. And you know, Ghost had some homies that was hit with some hard times, and I just didn't want to forget them. I felt like at the end of the day, yo, let me do a record for these niggas personally so they could feel good about me acknowledging them. You know, when you run with a bunch of crooks and some niggas got caught up, you tend not to forget them. You know, sometimes a letter is good, but then sometimes some acknowledgement is good. So I wanted to make that record, and I called it Incarcerated Scarfaces because them niggas had, I know you seen the movie Scarface, so I know you know that niggas had that mind frame where it's like, yo, you know, either you live to eat or, you know, you got to get it one way or another. And some niggas got trapped off. So I just wanted to have a record that specifically go to niggas that was away. You know, I had a lot of homies. Between three of my homies, they probably, you add those numbers up, they probably had about 45 years. So imagine having 10 homies in there. It's almost 200 years that niggas gave the system. So, and you didn't know if you was going to see them again. So this was my only way to communicate with them and let them know, yo, your brothers right here love you. And this record is dedicated to y'all. Same way a nigga dedicate a record to a female. I'll dedicate a record to niggas in jail.
Two questions about Incarcerated Scarfaces. And everybody's quoting lines, real niggas bust shots, Peace, Connecticut. I never understood why you said Peace, Connecticut. I was like, I didn't understand what it was, but it sounded fucking amazing. And Mad Police in Manhattan.
Man.
like everybody, everybody loves real niggas bust shots, Peace, Connecticut. Everybody loved that. Was there a reason that you said Connecticut? I might as well ask now.
I mean, it was a fly line, but at the same time, I've been to Connecticut because, you know, we did a show out there one time, and it was like, it reminded me of where we from. Bunch of wild niggas and shit. Niggas just want to fight and get into shit, and at the same time, it was like, I just felt like Connecticut was the right word to say, and I respected they town. So,
right,
you know what I mean? Real niggas lick shots. You know, Peace, Connecticut. It was just one of those situations where the rhyme just, it felt like that, and I kept it because I've been there before and I know they get down. So I definitely just, it just flew off a nigga tongue.
Two questions. What did you think? What did you think when you first heard that beat? Because when I heard that beat come on, my face twisted up. And number two, you said a line, now who's the Black Trump? And would you erase that line if you could now? Did you ever think that we'd wind up not liking Trump? Fatman Scoop.